Hi, we're doing figuring out area between curves and um, revolving area around curves. In fact, I jokingly say I should call this radio station KNOW, and this is your host, Charles V. Kruger, and we're taking a look at regions that are bounded by functions and computing their areas and revolving those areas and looking at cross sections. So I'm going to have a series of videos about this, and the first one says graph the region in the first quadrant bounded by the equation y equals the quantity sine x squared for or from 0 less than equal to x less than equal to pi and y equals 1. So what I did is I graphed that on my calculator, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then I'll put the graph on here. And so there's that particular graph, and if you take a look, right here is, this is 0, and that's my y equals the quantity sine x squared. That's this blue particular function. Then right here is the equation y equals 1. And so this region that I'm looking at is this region, and I'm going to find their intersections, and I'm going to notate them. All right, so I do that on a Casio by hitting G solve. And right here it says intersection, so that's an F5. And so I'm going to have the number 0.615. So 0.615 is my first intersection point, and my next intersection point is 2.526. 2.526. So I'm talking about the region in between those two values, and those are later going to be my A and my B. So I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to draw this particular graph. I got to bring this down. Sorry about my notebook. And so here's my graph. And here's my line. And my graph was something like this. It went up, and then it turned around and went down. And I'm going to put that in here. And this value was, this value right here for my A is 0.615. And this point right here is 2.526. And so I'm going to figure out the area between in that region, the area of that curve. Let's see if I can get a bucket here. And let me choose a color. And I'll show you what it looks like shaded. And I'm going to choose green, I think. And so I'm going to put it in here. And sure enough, I'm going to get that. I'm going to close that and come back to my radian tensile. So I'm taking a look at that. I kind of like that. Color looks pretty nice. And so I'm figuring out that particular area. And what it's going to be f of x. Down here, this is g of x. So my equation is going to be, I'm going to integrate from 0.615 to 2.526, and I'm integrating the sine of x, that quantity squared, minus 1. So top minus bottom dx. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my calculator and figure that out. And one thing I could do is I think I'm able to do this on a on this Casio, so that can give me an answer, and I can see if I've done it correctly. So I'll do this a couple of ways. I'm going to go Shift again G solve. Oops. Shift G solve, and I'm going to figure out the area. And I'm going to go from intersection to intersection. So that's my lower bound, and I press execute. And then I press my It goes to my other intersection point. I press execute, and there's my lower bound. You can see them up here, and my area is about 2.36, so actually 2.37 if I round correctly. Alright, and I'm going to do this a different particular way. I'm going to exit here, and notice they're in here, so I'm going to go back to my menu and come in here to calculate, and I'm going to press execute, and I'm going to go to options, and I'm going to go to calc, and I'm going to choose this one. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to vars, and I'm going to go for my graph, and I'm going to choose y, and I'm going to have y1 minus, again I'm going to choose y, y2, and in here I'm going to have in there I'm going to have 2.526, and down here I'm going to have 0.615, and I'm going to let my calculator do the work, so I'm going to press execute, and again I get 2.37 if I round correctly. So I'm going to put this on hold, go back here, get my sketch pad, and what I believe is 2.370, and so that's the area of that particular shape right there. Alright, and I'm going to stop, and I'll continue these videos later on, and radio station KNOW is signing out.